everybody, and welcome to the show where after the collision we sift through
the wreckage.
Boing! I am your host, Jimmy T. He is the best in the world, Jaime the Vet Williams, and that is the glorious and the magnanimous, the Professor Chabelo Vera Cruz, and we are live on Hummy Media Group's YouTube channel, and we're not on Channel Attitude anymore, so don't check us out there. But boys, it's another week of pro wrestling, and it's another week of AEW, of course. Are you pumped after, especially what went on in the wrestling world, especially with Drew McIntyre, I guess, it's going to break news. Being the world champ, are you happy about that, actually, Vet?
I don't care.
You don't care? You don't think Cody should still be the champ?
This isn't the way to kick off the show, is it? Like,
well,
I would have to do this long dissertation that, only a professor could be proud of, about the whole entire state and history of the wrestling business. I can't even touch that question with a 10-minute promo.
No, you're not getting away with this one. You don't have to do a long dissertation, but there is something called clip notes. You can give the Homie Knights a little bit of a clip note. It's okay about that.
Okay. All right. The clip notes version is belts don't mean nothing anymore.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Yeah. Simple, direct, to the point. Jimmy, you got what you needed, right?
I mean, he said it. I mean, belts don't mean shit anymore, right? I mean, we only got like 500 of them. So, I mean, seriously. But I also want to thank the chat for joining us, of course. Everybody, like, already in there, like Alexa. We got Liz. We got Ari Cover Blue, Lab Rat. We even got the Hammer in the house. And there's a few others, of course. There's Cold Blooded. We got, did I mention Liz? Well, if I didn't, I did now. And that's about it for now, unless I missed it. Oh, and, of course, this ain't Texas. Guys, let's get into some news, shall we? I mean...
Wait, Jimmy, can I just say something before you get on with the show right now? Shout outs to Jimmy T. Homie Nice. Are you hearing the music? Because right now, I wish I had my PS5 controller. I wish I was playing Grand Theft Auto. I'm ready to kill some people. I'm ready to rob some people right now. I want to rob some banks. Do you hear the music? I'm just going with it.
Actually, do you guys like the new theme, by the way?
Yeah, I like the new. It's definitely better than the old one, but I do like the old one a lot. So it's going to be sad to see it go, but at least it got replaced with something that's way better. You did this, Jimmy.
Yeah, so yeah, I did, man. So yeah,
the DJ's not just a clever nickname.
Well, since it is the new year, well, yeah, and it's I guess a new thing. But look out on, I don't know if Ray's told you yet, Vet, or not, but Gary's got a new theme song.
Oh, yeah, he really was very upset at you for not having it.
I know.
But
so I finally finished it. I did it. Apparently Ray loved it. He goes, that's exactly how I wanted it. So I'm not going to debut it here. You guys will get to hear it, obviously, on the Next Level Wrestling Review, and that is the NXT review show. So look out for that. But let's get into some news, fellas, shall we? Because this is in your neck of the woods, actually, Vet. But apparently, Killer Kelly reportedly departs from TNA. I mean, did she really do much in recent times?
No, but no, she did. She did. Well, she did for a little bit, but then she didn't. So I don't know what happened, but apparently she'd been working without a deal for a while. And that just meant they just didn't use her anymore. So that's weird. But she was getting quite a lot of TV time, quite a push, and then something happened. So I'll just chalk it up to politics.
No doubt, for sure. Prof, were you a Killer Kelly fan?
Did I appreciate her matches on TNA? I guess. To a degree, but if there's not a clear-cut contract for Killer Kelly to be committed towards TNA wrestling, because again, I don't know the TNA wrestling contracts. It's kind of funny because I don't know how long they go. Sometimes it's per appearance, Sometimes, maybe it's a year, maybe it's 2 years the most. But again, we don't know the budget of TNA right now, guys. And especially with AMC and TNA contracts have not rolled over. They've expired. So certain names are not even going to be at the AMC premiere this coming Thursday. So, we'll see where we go with it.
I'm actually
Now,
looking
is she the one that's with Myron Reed?
Oh, the
I'm not
Raspberry?
sure.
Is it Myron? Oh, I don't know.
Well, Myron's with somebody. But I keep forgetting. I don't want to mix it up if I'm wrong. But
I don't know that one.
But Myron is definitely getting more of a push, so that makes it kind of weird. I don't know. These things happen. It's not the first time. Won't be the last time.
Well, Vet, are you actually looking forward to the premiere episode of Impact
Absolutely
this
not.
coming week?
No.
You're not. You think the same old shit?
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible. Everything they do is terrible.
When was the last time you actually did dig an Impact? Actually, Vet, I'm curious.
Oh,
It's been a while.
God, it's 2 years ago. I feel like.
Shit, that's a long time, actually.
No, that's recent. I was waiting for Vet to say maybe like 2015, or maybe Destination America.
Well, it definitely wouldn't have been then.
No,
It probably would have been more in the single digit aughts, like when they still had the beautiful people and Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, and Curry Man,
Hey.
Oh, we're going back to 2009 right there.
Yeah. That would have been the last really, but yeah, it's basically just absolute. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for everybody. I'm embarrassed to watch it. Yeah.
Oh boy.
And being on AMC changes nothing. Like, it's not like all of a sudden you're just going to know how to do all the things you haven't been doing all this time.
True.
You know?
What's funny, Jimmy and Vet? Like, I've seen AMC shows and all the promotion for the debut of the TNA Impact on AMC, they've just focused on the Hardys. Everybody else doesn't matter. Everything is about the Hardys. Jeff Hardy, jumping down to the ring. That's all the commercials I've seen. It's kind of funny like that. No Kaz, no Santana, not even Dolph Ziggler. I've just seen Hardys. So whoever AMC, is a fan of with wrestling, damn well is the Attitude Era. That's the only team they knew.
True. In WWE news, now we've been seeing Kit Wilson obviously on television looking like a weirdo. I don't know what the hell he's wearing these days, but it's a little weird. But anyway, I'm not here to judge.
This is the guy that was in Pretty Deadly, Jimmy. I mean,
I know exactly who he is. Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm just saying it's like to say he's wearing something weird is like a little bit like saying, the sky's blue and the grass is green.
Although, on SmackDown this past week, the dude was wearing. It's like your grandmother's like shit, man. Like he had fat pearls in his neck.
Yes.
He looked like a fucking idiot.
I wanted to, yes. Instead of his head, you would have thought that would have been a vase of flowers sitting there on that thing, right? Yeah,
something like that. But that's just a bit too
but
much for me.
But Jimmy, the music is good. Come on, the music is.
And I think you're being a little toxic, Jimmy.
Oh, don't.
Don't be toxic.
Don't do that to me, please. But this is news on his tag team partner in Elton Prince. And which I didn't know. Obviously, we knew he was injured, but I didn't know it was this bad. But he actually underwent surgery for neck fusion surgery, that is, this past week.
Wait. Did you say neck? Are we talking about neck injuries?
Yeah,
Haven't
exactly.
We been hearing about this? Hasn't this been the debate, guys, about neck injuries and what's going on in the ring? I mean, again, I'm not playing devil's advocate here. I'm not doing 6-7s, guys. I'm just saying, like, you said neck, Jimmy. I'm just saying, let's keep it a buck here.
But the relevant issue, though, is that Elton Prince doesn't do stupid shit. So the lesson is that this will happen to you no matter what, and you should not expedite the process. Anybody's regular flat back bump could be their last. So, the point is that these things are going to happen. You can't necessarily avoid them. You can you can try to avoid having career injuries, and you can definitely be one of those daredevil type people and get lucky and not have career injuries. But, we're just talking probabilities and odds here. So if you spike yourself constantly, your odds greatly increase for having to get a broken neck and, potentially be Darren Drozdov or whatever. But they don't have to be those type of bumps. You could just take a regular bump and that could just be the last one. Elton Prince is not like a Kyle Fletcher type wrestler. No. He's very smart worker. These guys get over with character. They don't do too much. A lot of punch kick. It's Pretty Deadly is good. They're actually the best tag team of the last 5 years, unlike some people who think they are. But even so, even so.
Wow. I gave you the clip notes, but now you're gonna do that to me. You're gonna do me that dirty, my goodness.
Well, we have to be fair. To be fair.
You boys are characters. Anyway, he did say this though, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read what he said last because that's what really stands out for me. But he says his focus right now is getting healthy and reclaiming the basics, like being able to be the best dad I can be for my daughter. And basically he's not concentrating on getting back in the ring for now. All he's worried about is his daughter, like you said, and his family, and being able to do the basics again. And to me, it doesn't sound too positive about him coming back. I mean, could he be retiring at this point? It wouldn't surprise me, boys.
You just got to take it one day at a time. And, the most important thing is for him to do the basics, like he said. The most important thing is to hold his children, to have a normal life. So, technically, whatever he does in the ring, that's for fans. We don't need that. The priority is for him, for his livelihood, his quality of life. That's the only thing that matters to me.
Absolutely, no doubt. Vet.
Yeah, same thing. Just, it's always like when things like this happen, when somebody has like a career-threatening injury, the first thing you think is well, this is a soft retirement.
Yeah.
And some people have had, long soft retirements. They were hard retirements, and then they became, soft again, and then they came out of it like Adam Copeland, But that's, again, another guy who, he's not injured now, but he did that stupid thing and injured himself when he's supposed to be setting an example, right? And then he's jumping off cages and like a moron and breaking his leg or whatever. Like that's you came back, you had almost a decade of your career taken away. And again, it's not like Edge was necessarily doing like all Japan type matches. He just couldn't do this, one bump too many and you can't go anymore. And then he lost 9 years or whatever. So he comes back and he's doing dumb shit like that. Yeah. So that's why the gloves are off when it comes to him for me. But I'm just using him as an example of somebody who, like he does that. And and then here's Elton Prince laid up in a hospital bed on his Instagram, right? And he doesn't do that, He doesn't do any of that stuff. So it can happen to anybody, and everybody's got to be careful.
It's sad, man. No doubt about it. I guess Regal, was right after all with what he said, of course. But in other news, though, because this is confusing about this certain lawsuit, but Post Wrestling and WrestleNomics Brandon Thurston reported that the new class action lawsuit was filed on Thursday, January 8th, before the United States District Court in Connecticut, alleging that WWE and ESPN committed deceptive marketing practices. As Thurston reported that the lawsuit revolves around WWE moving their premium live events, PLEs, to ESPN's new streaming service. Thurston goes on to say that this lawsuit takes issue with how some of those who already gave access to ESPN channels through cable or other providers were still required to pay an additional fee of $29.99 per month to access WWE's PLE events on the service. The plaintiffs alleged that this contradicts marketing communications from both WWE and ESPN, specifically in regards to all existing ESPN subscribers being told that they would have access to WWE PLEs for free. Vet, was this a bad, like, were they fooling the fans, you think? Were they tricking the fans? If you remember, when they first announced this deal, everyone was sort of not sure about things. One half was saying if you got ESPN, you had it for free, right? And then the other half was saying, no, you still got to pay $30. Now, I don't have that issue down here. So I'm going to ask you, Vet, do you need, if you have access to ESPN on cable, do you still need to pay $30 to also watch the PLEs every month?
And I got an answer for you, Jimmy. I don't know. Because all the marketing was confusing.
It was.
In the wording and in the practice. I mean, I just heard people telling their anecdotal individual stories about, oh, I tried to do this, but it said this, or I went to this website and it told me to go to this website, and whatever anybody had to do or whatever hoops they had to jump through, or some people probably just figured it out and didn't have a problem.
Right.
But whatever the case may be for every individual person, I didn't see any of that myself, but just listening to all these different things from these different people, I'm thinking, God, it shouldn't be that difficult, right? Like it shouldn't be that. And we all know the person that's like, we all have the maybe like a parent or even a grandparent that comes to us and is like, hey, can you fix the thing with the mic? Like we know that there's people like that, but we also know that sometimes shit's just a little bit confusing. So I don't really know the answer to the question. I thought you'd be a fool to just give people PLEs for free. How is it a P if you just get it and all you had to do was exist as a cable or satellite customer that has ESPN? Because you certainly would. I mean, who has cable without ESPN? That would be, why don't you just give it all up?
Facts.
So yeah, that's a long way to say I don't know, man.
Well, before I take it to you, Prof, about this, I just want to say, like, I don't know, WWE shot themselves in the foot by even going this route in the first place. And what I mean by that, I'm going back when they first started the WWE Network and stopping pay-per-views in general. You know what I mean? Because it's funny, when you think about $30, it's still $30, but that's still a bargain to get all the pay-per-views, right? When you think about it. I mean, it really is. So
super bargain. I didn't know how they would make money on it. And furthermore, for a long time, they kept, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm teeing you up, Professor, but
no, please.
But like, also don't forget, they kept the cable and satellite pay-per-views for a while. So if you were some sucker that was going to pay 65 and up for those things, because that's what they cost. They didn't cost no 30. It cost $65.99 plus tax. And that's if you wanted that's if you wanted the HD. If you could stomach 480p for those, you could pay $54.99.
Wow.
But they did that quietly for years after they launched the WWE Network, and they just
for a good 4 years later. Throughout 2018, all the pay-per-views were still on pay-per-view. You know what I mean? All the PLEs. I think in 2019 is when they stopped actually putting it out on pay-per-view. So you're right, and this is all WWE's fault. They shot themselves.
No, Jimmy, no. It's not WWE's fault. They did what ESPN asked them to do. They rushed. They rushed it. They honored their commitments with Peacock. Let's not. I'm not even now. I'm going to be whoever is going to comment said I'm a shill. Good, I'm a shill for the WWE. But they honored the contract of the PLEs for Peacock. Remember, let's keep the memory going here. They did that part. Now, with the ESPN thing, there was a lot of confusion, like the vet said. Don't get me wrong. But let's not forget that the informative, especially the informative IWC people, from the Fightfuls, from the Wrestling Observer, they were keeping you abreast about which ESPN cable provider was doing it and which ESPN and which cable provider was not doing it. And initially, when this started, people were asking me, is my provider, is this or that? And I was like, I have no fucking clue. But with my provider, I have Spectrum and Comcast on my end. So I went, what did I do? I did my due diligence to get the answers from my provider. And they said, no, not at this time. So the one thing that people had to remember was ESPN, while they rushed the WWE to get them onto the ESPN app for $30 a month because ESPN needed the money, WWE is not, to me, I'm just going to say this, is not responsible for the deception. That's ESPN doing that. If anything anybody should be sued, it should be ESPN. But again, neither here nor there. But what the responsibility of ESPN was they had to work hard to get those cable providers in sync with each other. So this way, if you have like for me, I had Spectrum, it should have been free. I shouldn't have to pay $30. It should be included. It should be included with Time Warner. It should be included with Cox Communication. That's ESPN's fault. That's the deception. WWE just did what they were told by ESPN. If you honor your PLE commitments with Peacock, then come on over and all that stuff. And Jimmy, you and I had a discussion here. I forget. I think I was a guest on the Smack Attack. We talked about the WWE, this debacle. And I said, what did I tell you? You remember that I tell you? I said, I ain't going to do that shit. There's no reason to have a subscription to ESPN because, again, it depends on what you want. Do you want a WWE library? No. Well, go to Netflix. Subscribe to Netflix because the library is there. ESPN's not going to have a WWE library. I'm sorry, Hami Knights. It is what it is on that. It's only going to be the pay-per-views that are on ESPN from WrestlePalooza to right now. That's
okay.
That's 3 or 4 shows right now. That's their library. That's not enough for me to pay $30. What are you paying $30 a month for ESPN? College football, NBA, NFL, NHL, if it happens, soccer. You're paying $30 for everything else. So for this,
which is fair.
I'm going to call it. It's fair, but it's a frivolous lawsuit. If it's going to get thrown out, I'm not going to say I hope it gets thrown out, but again, it's frivolous for who is doing the deception. It's not WWE's doing the deception. They're doing what they're told.
Right. No, that's a good point.
And also, if you guys remember, when we first heard the news, when they were saying, hey guys, WWE coming to ESPN on the new ESPN app, they hadn't even launched the app yet, correct?
Yeah, you're right.
So they're telling you that you can get something before you can actually even get the thing that you can get it on. And that don't act like that wasn't a cluster, because there's already ESPN apps that existed. You know, like for example, if you had like the Disney Hulu thing, ESPN was an app that you could get and you could bundle that. So that's how you would watch the UFC pay-per-views. But here's the thing. They were still pay-per-views. You had the ESPN app and you had to have the app, but every one of those motherfuckers cost $90. So
and you have to
watch ESPN.
Yeah, you have to pay for the UFC review separately with
clap minus 90, but you still need that ESPN app. And that's not the ESPN app that they were talking about. They were making a completely new ESPN app, also confusingly called the ESPN app. So as Professor is pointing out, none of what I just said had anything to do with the WWE.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. I'm glad we don't have that problem down here in my neck of the woods, but I feel bad for you guys because everywhere you got to like pay for this and that.
Don't feel bad for us. Stephanie McMahon, the pillar that she is, the prodigal genius she is, told you the 3 most dangerous letters for anybody with cable or computers. VPN. It's not RKO, it's VPN. She's a warrior for us. She helped us. She saved us.
And just quietly,
a surf shark is an apex predator, however.
See, nice. I was gonna say, if any VPN providers are out there and want to sponsor us, don't be shy. We'll be more than happy to actually, spread the word about good old VPNs, whoever that might be. If it's,
Yeah, but also don't forget that you have to pay for VPN. So don't think that you're just getting shit for free.
But that's
everybody just
that's 80 or 90 or $100 for at least 2 or 3 years you can spend, and that's a great investment.
It's still probably cheaper in the long run. But then again, I don't have a VPN. I seem to keep abreast of all these things. I won't tell you how, but just know that there are ways out there, even in the deeper, darker waters than where the sharks swim.
Yeah, like progressing times.
I go old school. I go old school. You're supposed to steal from your, well, not steal, but borrow from your neighbor's Wi-Fi, or borrow the electrical poles. You can find ways. That's right. You can find ways.
That's a one fine point that we can also end on, because there was some chatter in the chat about, the WWE Network. I miss the WWE Network.
Yeah.
I used to have the WWE Network, and we talked about the WWE Network already. But the thing about that $9.99, what a great price, what a great deal. But the thing is, just like everything else, people aren't willing to even do that, because they will just say, I can't tell you, there was people that be like, or either to me or a friend I know that also had the network would be like, hey, can I get your WWE Network password? So every one of those that you're getting, let's say each person, right, that has the WWE Network has 2 or 3 friends, that's bumming off them, but they want it. So now you multiply that by however many subscriptions that they would had, and multiply that by 3, 4, depending on how many friends you had that was trying to bum off you. And you can get a picture of how much money they could have been getting that they weren't getting, which is why the WWE Network wasn't sustainable for them, because they would rather just be like, we'll lease the whole thing to Peacock for a chunk sum. Right? Like that's better for them than trying to deal with all these people that are just going to steal the shit anyway. If every wrestling fan wouldn't have just been cheap as shit and just paid the $10, we might be sitting in a better situation right now. So every one of you wrestling fans is complaining about all these other practices and these other things that they got to do. If you didn't pony up the $9.99, shut the fuck up. If you did, you have the right to complain all you want about how things are.
That was brilliant. Absolutely. That's best in the world again for a reason.
That's a pipe bomb right there. That's a pipe bomb, Jimmy.
Because it's a truth bomb, man. It's the truth. What he said was absolutely the truth. I mean, you can't go around it.
And that's the thing that people never talk about in these narratives. Everybody's got their narratives, and they say, oh, well, it's this or it's that, or this is why business is down, or this is why they have to raise these prices and stuff. It's because everybody's stealing shit. That's why every price and everything goes up. Everything.
Vet, you know what's funny? 1 million people subscribe to the WWE Network, but as of today, 10 million people are complaining, where's the WWE Network? Math ain't mathing. That's awesome.
That's another truth bomb right there. But you're right, man. I gave out my password to quite a few friends. I'm not going to lie. And but they will.
Jimmy, you part of the problem. Jesus Christ.
Well, that's WWE's fault anyway, man. The fact that you could do that to multiple people, I mean, shit. But anywho, we could talk about this all day, pretty much. I mean, it's there's so many different things about it. But let's jump to New Japan news, because it's pretty much the final thing, really. And Vet, I don't think you'll be too excited, but Shota Umino re-signs with New Japan for at least one more year till the end of 2026. He posted it on Twitter, and he said
he's not going to test free agency like Evil.
No, and Evil absolutely, I think, would be. Oh man, you won't get used right in the US, but
no, nobody would. I would. Boy, give me Evil in a wrestling promotion. Remember the finger lasers? Those are coming back for sure.
Everything is Evil. I saw that in person, as a matter of fact.
It looked cool, right?
It did absolutely look cool, man. It was trippy. Like, you literally see it. Lasers are literally like shining out and shit. It's pretty full on. Why doesn't he use that gimmick anymore? He should.
He just he got rid of all that shit when he went to House of Torture. And
don't get me wrong, I like this version of Evil too. I mean, he's good, man.
This version sucks, but I mean, he's the same guy. But here's the thing. This is a tangent, a slight tangent. But I think people get hung up on a lot of stuff about wrestling, and I don't even know how many people are really wrestling fans, or if they're just fans of stuff that they liked when they were a kid. Like if it was whether it was cartoon bullshit with Hulk Hogan, whether it was beer drinking and violence with Steve Austin, or whatever or John Cena, using Adam Sandler catchphrases and shit and beating everybody. Maybe that was your thing. But whatever your thing was, some of it was not pro wrestling, and what New Japan got right and what was enjoyable is that you had a company where everybody was a pro wrestler. Like, you get it. You look at them, they got their trunks, their boots, their gear and everything, and they have matches, and then the match is over and you go on to the next match. It sounds boring if you say it like that, but here's the difference. All the guys had the flavor, right? So you would have Evil, right? Now, if you watch the Evil match starting from the bell, you'd just be like, oh, well, Evil's just this Japanese guy. But he comes out, he's got this giant Grim Reaper, like, robe. He's got this giant scythe that he carries to the ring with him. He got these finger things that shoot these green lasers that everybody could see in the arena, like a little one-handed light show that he's doing, and the music and everything. And he's got this cool ass presentation, So, like, there's flavor to it, but it's not the whole meal, right? The meal is supposed to be the pro wrestling. If you don't like pro wrestling and you're trying to get things that you like from something you don't like, you're doing it wrong. But Evil is like the perfect encapsulation, because there's nothing about him was crazy, or he didn't do anything, like, he didn't have a crazy gimmick or anything like that. It was just, it was dressing, it was flavor, and that was cool. And that gives you the sort of the spectacle of pro wrestling that people enjoy. Like, oh, look at this big entrance, we like
that
big
is
entrances.
pro wrestling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's true. It's facts. I mean, Prof, do you feel the same way? Do you agree with what Vet had to say there?
Well, in about 3 weeks, we'll be doing a Dynamite review, and Evil has joined the Don Callis family. I'm waiting for that one.
Oh, God, don't do that. If he does come aboard to AEW, I wonder if WWE would be interested. But then again, I'm worried wherever he goes at this point. But we'll see what happens with Evil. Is he with EO Sky? Someone was saying.
Yeah, me.
So they're still together. That. Oh yeah, it was you that said that. See, I always got to. I thought he was with Curry Sane, man, years ago.
No, she married a civilian.
Okay, all right, interesting. Well, anywho, we're talking about Shota Umino, funny enough.
Yeah, why bother?
All right, fair enough. I don't know how we went straight to Evil, but we did.
Because when we did the Wrestle Kingdom review, which is available on YouTube, so everybody can watch me, Jimmy, and Jargo break down Wrestle Kingdom. We talked about Evil testing the free agency waters. You brought that news story up.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's apparently the go. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to talk about, I'm not going to ask for your guys' opinions, because it's roughly the same thing as what you guys said last week. But JR and Devon are going to apparently catch up and iron this shit out, supposedly. So congratulations to them for actually,
on a podcast, or this is
no. JR actually came out and said, because I heard it. He's like, I don't want to do a podcast, comrade. He was saying to him, like, he was adamant too. Like, I don't want you to make money basically off of this. It's just private as friends.
I just wanted to make sure that this, again, if you wanted to pay their Patreon just for the supposedly the confrontation, the conversation, tune in to their podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Once Devon like open that's exactly what I said, right? When the last time you asked us about it, I said, well, let's hear what Devon actually says instead of the vague stuff that he said. So I guess he's a fan of the Wreckage, because he went and he said like what supposedly happened. And by listening to Devon's story, I'm like, oh, of course, yeah, that makes perfect sense. JR was drunk, so
he changed his story the next week, to say he never mentioned he was drunk and all that. Like in the first week, he mentioned that on the second week with Maven about it. So I find that interesting. But there seems to be a lot of witnesses though to this.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying, like, so that makes total sense. I could see JR doing that, and that's why he doesn't remember doing it.
And I truly believe he doesn't remember it. Like,
yeah, he's saying I didn't do that. So yeah, because you were drunk, you don't remember. So, but it's also, like, I can almost sort of get, like, I can understand Jim possibly being what he's saying being misconstrued as like he's speaking on behalf of the way the business is, you know, with the good old boys or whatever, or some shit like that. So I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just, you know, I'm glad that they're going to, you know, iron it out.
But liquor is the ultimate truth serum. That's what they always say.
That's what they always say.
Apparently so. I mean, that's what they always say indeed. Well, that was the news for the week, fellas. So I think it's time we put our gloves on and get ready to start sifting. Vet.
Okay, let's sift. Professor, you don't have any year beginning awards to hand out, do you, or anything? Just like so far this best of 2026 so far.
The only award I could give is match of the year. It already happened in Wrestle Kingdom. I'll give it to Tanahashi and Okada. They're winning in the tabulation points.
All right.
Wow.
They're the clear front runners. Well, speaking of JR, on this episode of Dynamite is the return of JR to a full-time commentating duties. Well, at least full episode commentating duties.
And it was all right too. He did all right.
Yeah, you know.
He wasn't asked to do too much. You know, that it was a good moment for the AEW crowd, a good moment for himself. You know, again, got to get out of the house. What better way to do it than be on Dynamite for 2 hours?
Yeah, and I want to ask you guys, like, how do you feel about the triple play-by-play booth? Like, how do you like that setup?
It's a
Why
weird
do they even
dynamic
do
because
that?
but Jimmy, you got to look at it this way. I don't mind a 3-man booth, but again, you're supposed to have the lead play-by-play. I'm going by Nitro. A lead play-by-play person, an analyst, and a color commentator. Someone that could be the wrestler. Like, I don't mind Brian Danielson being there, or Nigel being there, but you had 3 straight-up lead play-by-play guys. And then some people are respectful to, you know, just take a step back, let Excalibur do his thing. But you can hear it. Like Tony Schiavone's like, no, kid, it ain't you Excalibur, it's me. He just wants to chime in. JR's like, I don't give a damn. I'm getting paid right now. I'll say my little spiel here.
Yeah, effectively, JR's the color commentator. Excalibur was the wrestler, so technically he would be the color commentator, but he wants to do play-by-play because he knows the names of all the moves. And, you know, and then you got Tony Schiavone, who's like, he's completely checked out, and he's autopiloting his whole thing, which not bad for an autopilot, but you know.
How about a colored commentator? Zane
How about
says.
a colored commentator from Zane Vicious? That's interesting. Yeah, we don't have too many of those.
Not these days.
Well, Excalibur's mask is black, though.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, we got to start somewhere. That's how we get around the the affirmative action. It's like, well, the mask is black.
Yeah.
But it does also have some white on it. So, all right. Well, anyways, look, enough of that. JR's there. Renee is reporting that Jet Speed have both been injured. And
yes.
and then she's like, and this is with Don. This is one Don Callis. This is with Ricochet, you know, and they're like, she's like, you know, they're like saying, you know, is this the bounty thing? And Ricochet said something like, you know, we didn't say anything about a bounty. All we said was that if somebody wanted to hurt them, we would pay them a large sum of money. And Renee's like, that's literally a bounty. And, you know, so little fun stuff like that. And they were basically trying to redefine the word bounty for everybody. And then Don Callis also showed that if somebody had collected a bunch of money, it was probably these guys. And we see Jake Doyle, which is that guy's real name, but you would have known him as Jake something from TNA. So there's another guy whose contract was up and they were like, you know, kick rocks. And Mark Davis is also there, still fat and with a big ass. But
at least they suit each other, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mark Davis and Jake Doyle can be a tag team in the Don Callis family. They can go after the tag team titles or just be a duo that can beat up people on the Collision. I'm fine with that. And Jake Doyle wanted to cash that check. He wanted that, and he had nothing left to do in TNA, really. So, you know, I'm happy for him.
You know
nothing left to do since he hadn't done anything anyway and was never gonna.
That's what I'm saying. He had nothing left to do.
I
How
can see
many
these
times-
guys.
He had everything left to do.
How many
Yeah.
times are you gonna fight the hometown man? That's what I'm just saying. How many times are you gonna fight the hometown man? At least
Yeah.
now he's got to fight Jet Speed. He's gonna fight maybe Jack Perry or something like that. He's got.
And he's gonna lose every single match, guaranteed.
I'll
Well,
be
now-
a happy Jimmy. I'll be a happy loser as long as that's double the money. I'm sorry.
Ugh.
Now hometown man's doing commentary for AEW right there with JR. And anyway, so there's those guys. Now we get Jon Moxley, your newest, biggest babyface, versus Shelton Benjamin.
Can I ask
Professor?
before you
Oh
continue?
no,
on, though?
Jimmy, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask, why was Shelton crying? I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I don't think
He was crying legitly.
I
I
don't
kid you
think he
not.
was-
Shelton has answered that question, Jimmy.
Oh, did he?
He sprayed water on his face, and it
No,
looked
really?
like a tear. He did. He said, "I wasn't
Dude,
crying."
did you look at the rest of his body? He had water all over himself. As soon
No,
as I
but it
saw
looked-
that, I heard somebody say, "Why is Shelton crying?" So when I watched the episode, I'm like, okay, what are they talking about? He comes out. Yes, he's got water on his face and he everywhere else on him. So I'm like, okay, he just did the water bottle thing and it looked like he was crying. Why else
I heard
what
it
would he
too
be
until I
crying
saw
about?
it.
I mean, I'm crying that I had to watch this shit. I had to watch Jon Moxley get thrown around and still win. Like with this guy, oh my God. It's
Yeah.
All I'm just saying is Jon Moxley has a mission statement from Tony Khan. Make the Continental title the second most important title on AEW. And if he's going to be doing this every week or bi-weekly with these open challenges, which, come on, let's keep it real. It's an open challenge. And they hide it. They disguise it as an eliminator match. Why? I don't care. But at least I'll say this, guys. Why didn't Shelton at least get the draw? At least then I'm going to be intrigued. It's the Hurt Business. It was a nice physical, methodical match from both guys. I don't mind it being a draw. At least give Shelton something to work with, because now he's just an afterthought, and now he's that. Well, I guess he can move on to the national heavyweight title, or he can move on to the TNT title with
Did you
Mark
say
Briscoe.
national heavyweight title?
It's there.
Oh, wait,
Go
there
after
is.
Rick
Oh, there is, isn't there?
Yeah.
So there's international, national.
Yeah, it's not
Global-
your fault, Jimmy, that you haven't seen it since they brought it out. And they don't
Yeah.
use it and they've already forgotten about it.
It's ridiculous, man. I can't keep up.
All I'm
Yeah.
just saying is a draw would have been the victory that Shelton needed to at
Yeah,
least move.
but you
this
know
on.
what made me sick, boys? The fact that he even, after the match, Moxley goes up to Shelton to shake his hand and shit. Like, well done, kid. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're making me sick. And you know what's even worse? The fans are loving him now. See, everyone rise when Moxley comes out now. Like, literally, the whole place, like, stood up. I know it's corny and cheesy. And they don't care. They don't care the fact that suddenly he's a babyface. Why? I have no idea. Like, can anyone answer that question? Anyone, please?
Every time I answer this, I get mad at myself because I go on a tangent. Because I've been saying this for almost the last month of what it's supposed to be. Like, he's doing something that's very babyface-ish, but then his cohorts are doing everything heelish. And I've always said, it's like, as long as it kind of like that power dynamic looks weird, you needed the center on the other side of the heelish part to get him out, because Jon Moxley is doing something respectful. He loves the title. He loves the business. He loves pro wrestling. He loves the sport, the competition. Get him out. We need a new leader of the Death Riders. And you saw it. You see Claudio. You can see not Wheeler. You can see Pac being the next leader, or Marina Shafir being the leader. I keep saying this. I'm going to keep saying this every week until I get what I want.
It's
Just
sad,
give him what he
man.
wants.
Damn it.
Batista voice. Give him
Yeah.
what he wants.
Yeah, he's the people's champ now. He's AEW's people's champion, that's for sure.
Well, obviously nobody wants this, that Jon Moxley is being put in a triangle choke by Shelton Benjamin and then decides, well, I'll just pin him. And there you go. And,
I hate those type of
everybody looks
finishes in a
dumb.
way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because is it really realistic when you think about it, man? Like those type of pins. If it was a real fight,
Not for Shelton Benjamin. There ain't no way you're pinning Shelton Benjamin. I don't care who you are. So no matter what he's doing, I would, but it's more like where even has been the Hurt Business? You know, it's
Actually,
like
that's a great
they
point.
really have fallen off, like in terms of like their TV time and their presentation.
I think they said Lashley is hurt, so he's taking some time off to heal some wounds or something like that. But
Yeah.
you're right.
And here's two other guys.
Yeah, two other guys. They need to recruit. I hate to use. I don't want to go back into the WWE thing, but who was a perfect foil for Lashley? It was Leo Rush. So if I would recruit somebody for the Hurt Syndicate, I don't care if they're gonna be feeders or jobbers, but the crew, Leo Rush and what's the dude's name?
Action Andretti.
I'll take him. Add him to the Hurt Syndicate. They need it. Technically, they would need that boost up to be in the Hurt Syndicate to have MVP's guidance, but at least they could get the TV time, Jimmy. That's all I'm saying.
I guess we'll see what happens, but I'm looking forward to when Lashley does come back, whenever that is. Hopefully, they go back on a little run and whatnot. But yeah, Vet, you can continue on, man.
Darby is continuing to search. Let's see, I'm
While
searching.
skateboarding too, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then GOA versus Jungle Jack and his two friends that he said he would find, the Young Bucks.
How
Oh,
obvious.
yeah.
And they were over too, man. The fans went banana for the Young Bucks.
These fans have terrible taste. Yeah, Jimmy. I mean, what do you obviously you weren't surprised.
No, I wasn't. I called it. I literally called it. I was saying it today. I'm like, "What? You'll be the Bucks." That's exactly who it is.
There was no
I'm confused.
choice. It had to be the Bucks because again, the history between Jack Perry and the Young Bucks, and they've squashed the beef, and now it's kind of like the Elite right there. They are the Elite.
Yeah, but it should have been the other way around. You know what I mean? Because it was all for the wrong reasons with all the bullshit that happened in the past. But anyway, who cares? It's all over the place. It's backwards. It's like we're in a parallel universe suddenly where everything's backwards again, even though AEW is always backwards anyway because they love booking from the end to the start, if that makes sense. They go backwards, literally.
Speaking of backwards, even after this match, they went backwards and did a remix. They did a remix.
Remix, yeah. So let's get to that. So Ricochet boards the knee train here. Like everybody that has a knee, basically put it in Ricochet's face here and beat him.
Though.
And then the Callis family comes out, and then there's a schmaz, and then the lights go out, they come back on, and it's Andrade.
Well, and then it should have been crickets. It's
Andrade, el ídolo.
That's right. Yeah. So he's there. Yeah, look at him. Look at him. He's back.
Where did I see this before? Like it was literally a retake completely, like to a T.
They redid Attacking the Elite with Andrade, except this time it wasn't against Kenny Omega. It was against the Bucks. It was against Jack Perry. And Jimmy, I told you this, and you asked me, is Andrade coming back? I said, it's just a question of when. And now the win is coming out. It's this.
Here
but
it
I'll
is.
say this. Now, at least for Kenny Omega, because again, storyline wise, he wants to be the world heavyweight champion, but he needs barriers, guys. He needs contenders, or he needs adversaries right now. He needs adversity. And Andrade is the perfect. I'll say this before Vet moves on. And Jimmy, you talk about backwards. In the last, 8 months, Kenny Omega has not gotten retribution for two people that has attacked him and taken him out. Kyle Fletcher and Andrade. Let's just remember this, guys, and Hami Nights. He hasn't gotten any retribution. It's been 8 months. I just wanted to point that out there.
Neuralized.
He's pretty laid back guy. He's willing to forgive.
He's laid back. Exactly. And just
you can't be angry forever, you know.
Because that brat wanted it, you're gonna get it. That's to AEW's backwards bullshit, all right, and freaking repeated shit. But anyway,
now also as this is an added touch, just so that people remember they're alive. FTR and Stokely with a wheelchair come out, and they just look at everything for a while, and that's it. They don't do
Yeah, what was
nothing
up with that? Like, yeah, again, I don't know.
They're looking at this schmaz and scouting potential future opponents.
Because it's the champion's job to do that, right?
Yes, of course. Every champion does. Every champion
It's
worth
so
their,
dumb.
worth their gold does this. They
Backwards again, man. Backwards, man. It's back to fun shit.
right. Renee brings out the stat babes, and then this was this time the lights went out, and it was not a planned lights out.
That was legit. But to their credit, they didn't sell it.
That electricity bill, man, that's a very expensive thing when you rent out that arena. If you don't pay your bills on time, Tony, you turn that light on.
That's right. Someone must have came in the house talking loud. So anyways, the lights go out and they have to like work these spotlights or whatever. So now we're watching this championship celebration under dim lights, and Willow's like, I want to invite Mercedes Money to the party because none of this would have been possible without her. So she comes out. She sure enough comes out, and then she flips out, and then just like many people have been hoping she would, she got caked up, but it's just not the way that she meant. Yeah. Oh.
And did you notice with Willow how she was mentioning cake, and you dirty people, you dirty sickos out there were thinking she was talking about eating cake, but eating Harley's cake. No, she was talking about actual cake, just quietly. God damn it, dirty minded sickos.
Yep.
Sorry, I thought the same thing, Jimmy. I'm sorry. It's okay.
I know, so did I, but still.
You all knew she meant that delicious sheet cake that only exists in wrestling for someone to go face first into it. And of course, that's what happened here. But it was also weird. It was like, Mercedes used to get all this sort of like preferential presentation, right? She would do stuff like this or whatever, or she'd come out and she'd look like she was above it all. And now she's kind of like, now that she's on her downward spiral, right, so to speak, it's like, it's also like, not only that, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I should be because it feels like this is just some jobber they came out to embarrass. She doesn't even feel like the CEO anymore.
Well, you know what she's doing? She's copying something that happened in TNA a few years ago. I feel like where we going.
Oh, God. Well, that's a bad idea. Nobody should be doing that. What is it?
The hot mess friggin' storyline.
Oh, you think a hot mess? Well, it's not really. I don't think
borderline,
so.
It's getting there. I feel like if they're going that way, I could be way off. But it did remind me of Chelsea Green for whatever reason.
All I'm going to say for this segment here is, again, I understand the downward spiral. But how can it be a downward spiral when she has 9 belts?
They're not even acknowledging those belts anymore. You notice that?
But that's the funny thing. How can it be a downward spiral? She's actually shitting on the belts that she's won all over the world that made her supposedly the #1 woman wrestler in the world. So she's not. If the TBS title meant so much and these belts don't mean so little, kind of validates the Professor's Perspective Award that I did not get. That's all I'm just saying.
Well, to be fair, as you would say, Professor, once she lost the TBS championship, everything else doesn't mean shit anymore.
But that should have been the last belt she should have lost. Every other belt should have been lost.
Backwards.
Yeah, it's very backwards.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's a lot of things that they should have done, and it's too late now. So,
yep.
Oh, we got Daniel Garcia here. He's not going to be in the main event on any of these shows, so that's also good.
We love the Death Riders, Daniel. We really love them.
Yep.
Make us understand this.
Well, that says the Owen Hart doesn't mean shit. It's true.
Damn. It's also the one belt you don't defend, but you don't.
It's a trophy.
Which I, that's a shame because I would love for her to win the tournament for me, and then I just sneak in and take it in one match. Like that's definitely how you should do it. Mark Briscoe cuts a promo from the farm, which obviously Mark Briscoe is great. And then he says that he looks into his crystal ball, into the future, and this title ain't going nowhere. So Hechicero, look out, baby, or whatever. This is great. Obviously, 10 out of 10, no notes, but that's that.
Hechicero, baby.
Then you get I'm sure he said that at some point. And then you get the complete opposite of that because you get a Triangle of Madness promo.
Ugh. Wait, I have to do it. Fine.
Yeah, you have to do the thing.
I got to go back to it. Freaking hell. Let me just get to it, but here it is.
The Triangle of Madness.
And goddamn it, Tickler.
So Mark Briscoe's on the farm, and these girls were like in the bathroom or something. Like, I don't know where this was, but it looked like they just went in the shower and recorded
in the
this.
Shower, right?
Yeah.
Can I say one thing? The funny thing was people were waiting on Tekla to speak. I think that was one of the biggest misnomers about, with the Sisters of Sin and Sisters of Sin. I can't do the thing, Kitty, but they need to hit it.
I'll do it.
But they were waiting.
Sisters of Sin.
Thank you, Kitty. But they were waiting we were waiting for Tekla to speak. Now, after all these weeks, I don't want to hear Tekla speaking. If anybody's supposed to be speaking for the sisters, I'd rather have it to be Julia. I'll take Sky, but Tekla speaking just kind of drowns me out. No matter where she could be on, they could be on the stairs, they could be in the bathroom, they could be in the boiler room. Don't speak, Tekla. Less is more.
100% agree with that. How do you feel about Tekla?
Soft disagree, because as much as we may not want to hear Tekla or whatever, the other two alternatives are mind-bogglingly terrible. I mean, you've heard their promos, they can't do it. So at least
they're simplistic, though.
They're not. Trust me.
All of them should be
You just forgot. Your brain can only hold so much. You have to cycle out the useless information. But unfortunately, their promos are still rolling around in here for a little while longer before I find something else to get rid of them. So this wasn't going to be it, though. I'll forget about this very quickly as soon as I'm done reading about it. But that's Sammy Guevara versus Bandito. The only note I have for this, the match itself anyway, because it doesn't matter. Obviously, nobody cares. Fuck Sammy Guevara. Nobody, he's just here to, so Bandito could get a strong win, right? Even though he doesn't need strong wins. He gets regular wins. It's Bandito. Yeah. So, he doesn't really need it, but here it is. Here's a strong win for him. And the funniest part of the match was when Jim Ross was like,
he was giving shit,
Guevara was doing something like some kind of cheating or something, right? And it was when they'd already, only the Australian feed would have seen this, right? Now the TBS feed didn't see this, which is why it was funny. But so yeah, while Guevara's cheating, JR said, "Wouldn't it be embarrassing if he got disqualified during the commercial break?"
Yeah, during the commercial break. Yeah. You saw that one? Did you see that at all, Prof? Well, you probably didn't catch it.
I was on the TBS feed, so
he was on the legit feed.
I was watching the Pizza Hut commercials on the side, so they were talking about that. So I'm just
you need the fight feed, Prof. You need the fight TV feed or Triller now that it's called.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, yeah.
Can I have your account, Jimmy? So you could share that account with the
professor if you want. I'm pretty sure you can do
it. You know what? The problem. You don't want me to pay for it.
Yeah. We'll talk about it off the air.
So, yeah, Bandito gets a 21 plex on him, and then he scuttles off, and then MJF comes out, and Jonathan Cruz is with him.
Yeah,
and he's translating for Bandito, and MJF tells him to hand the ring over, and he doesn't, so he kicks Bandito in the balls, and then he puts the ring on and he takes the ring from Bandito, puts the ring on, goes to do the ring punch, and Bandito kicks him in the balls, and then he hits both guys with a 21 plex, so I guess that's like a 42 plex, but
it's a 42 plex, and he also did say, "I speak English, fool."
yeah. Bandito definitely speaks English. Much better promo than Brody King, as we've mentioned many times. So, Professor, your assessment of this, are you more hyped now for the match?
Bandito got a strong win against Sammy Guevara. This was a strong promo for Bandito to get that great momentum going into Maximum Carnage. So, it's doing its justice right there. I'm hyped for the match. I'm invested for the match. And maybe for a millisecond, I might believe Bandito might have a shot at being the champion. A millisecond, bet. Only a millisecond. Not too much.
Can't just point out,
Jimmy, a millisecond or more or less?
Yeah, maybe less. Yeah. But what I do want to point out, though, did you notice with the commentators, are you really that strong when, Sammy Guevara is not that freaking big, but when he's doing the one arm shit and all that, and they're like, oh my, look at him, he's so strong. Like they're creaming. It's like, come on, man. It's Sammy Guevara. Do that to Brody King, for example, and then I'll be impressed.
Well, he's not going to do that because Brody King is his friend.
That's
and
true.
Also, he's up next. So if you had any doubts about who had the better promo, you got to see side by side. You got to see this Brody King vignette.
And just quietly, dog's a man's best friend.
Definitely. Yeah. The Hounds of Hell.
Are they trying to give a...
Yeah.
While we talk about the Brody King vignette, guys, are they trying to give him a little bit of a charactership? Because with the vignette, they're going more into his love of death metal or death rock music, jumping off the stage, and all this
He's a
stuff.
rock star now, Prof.
He's a rock star. Again, from his darkness days with Aleister Black, now and then being a Brodito guy, didn't really talk about that. And only thing I remember for Brodito was Fuck Ice. Now he's a death metal punk rocker who jumps off the stage. He should now join Darby Allin. That's all I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, he wears balaclavas too. What is he gonna do? Rub a joint? I mean, seriously. God.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Well, he's robbing.
Watch out, 7-Eleven employees.
He's
yeah.
He's robbing Tony Khan.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Next is Timeless versus Problem.
Ooh, Mother's Milk versus Storm Zero.
Yeah, exactly. Two delicious drinks. Which one's gonna win? Yeah, so they have a match, but Yuta comes in and he grabs the large packet, or he grabs the ref when Tony Storm gets the large package. So he has to get disqualified. So or he causes the DQ for the Problem. And then the Death Riders and the Conglomeration come out, so we get another schmaz, and then Orange helps Tony and Mina this time. So,
are we gonna get
a little character development? Maybe Mina can't be so jealous because she got a little helping hand from Mr. Cassidy. What do you think of this? What do you think of this prospective love triangle, guys?
I
mean, come on, Prof. Doesn't that remind you of ECW and Tommy Dreamer?
Fine with me. I ain't got no complaints about that. Threesomes is good. I love my breasts freshly squeezed. All this stuff, it writes itself. But
the problem is AEW hardcore.
They're always hardcore. They're hardcore to the bone.
They think.
But I'll say this. This was a match that, it's been building for weeks. So I have no problem with it being on Dynamite. The match is what it is. Mother's Milk against Storm Zero, like you said. And, you can still continuous. I find the ending, the threesome was fine. I find the decision flat. That I don't know. Out of all the stuff that AEW gets away with, the referees let you get away with. For this to be I'm not saying that it's not to the letter of the law of the disqualification. I'm just going by the history of AEW television. They've let a lot of things slide. And let's not forget, with that kind of spot, guys, they don't ring the bell for disqualification. The referee mostly just says, "You're out of here." We didn't get that. What changed, Vet? What changed?
I don't know. Maybe with this this epidemic of referees just screwing everything up, maybe some of them decide to take the job a little more seriously.
Okay.
If they wanted to, they could disqualify somebody for a closed fist punch. They just don't do it. Mm-hmm. It's at their discretion. So apparently this guy did not like the way that Wheeler grabbed his leg and yanked him out of the ring.
Oh.
You know, it's individual discretion. That's all I could tell you. You know, so anything else to add, Jimmy, before we move on?
No, I pretty much said my piece.
All right. Renee is with Pac, and Darby is like, you know, give me what I want. You know, he does what Professor said. He does what Batista did. He said, give me what I want. You know what I want. Just give me what I want. Pac's like, no, why would I? Why would I wrestle a wrestler? So he's like, fine. And then he gets a fire extinguisher and sprays him, and then he beats him up and sticks his leg in the door and threatens to break his leg with the door unless he agrees to the match. And Pac says, all right, fine, I'll have a match with you. Jeez.
Seriously.
The way you just said it is the way I looked at it. Like, you worked all this way after a whole year, after the revenge you got on Moxley.
Right.
Fucking
right, because to your point, Professor, you know, and Jimmy, like, whose job is it? Like, Pac is the matchmaker here. If Darby wanted a match, he's going to the wrong guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a boss. He could say, exactly. I want a match. And how many times has somebody gone out to the ring and said, I want a match with so-and-so. And then Tony Schiavone stands up and says, I'm in my ear. Tony Khan is telling me that this match will happen next week on Dynamite.
Keep it consistent. That's all.
We need that notification bell though, from the iPhones.
Yeah,
like in WWE. That's
yes. I have a message from the anonymous general manager Tony Khan. Oh, oops! I shouldn't have said that. All right, yeah, like what? I just that's the whole thing. Like, it's not it. First of all, it's not asking too much for a little consistency, but furthermore, with consistency, it makes your job easier because you don't have to think of some stupid reason. You have a protocol. There are reasons that there are protocols in place for things, whether it's in businesses or anywhere else. Like, they have like, well, if this happens, then this, and if this happens, then this. Like, there are rules that you follow. And that's what you refer to whenever anything happens. That's how we live our life as in society. It's why we're not just still cavemen out there, like building fires on the ground. Like, we've evolved to a point in society where we've agreed upon some rules for things, and then we try to follow them. Of course they don't, but you know, that's what the rules are for. And then you get punished. So same thing in wrestling. You have a set of rules. If you deviate from the rules, like, you know, grabbing the referee's leg or whatever, you have things that you say, okay, well then this is going to happen every time. It can't just happen some of the time. It can't just happen half of the time. It's got to happen all the time.
And I'll say this, Vet. Maybe you might not agree with this, but with the optics of, like, to me, Jimmy, it's like Darby's whining for this match. I want this match against you. I want this match. Now, for me, for the viewing audience, I could actually take, maybe Darby could be, well, he could be dark and he could be cynical. He could attack Pac, and Pac could just be like, you know, I want the match. I want my revenge against him. Something simplistic, like beat him down, beat him in the locker room, beat him in the bathroom, beat him in the boiler room. Do something that makes Pac just say, I need to get my revenge on Darby. Because you could bet, you know, Darby threw him off the stage and got him injured. That's where we are. So why don't Darby do something cynical and dangerous against Pac, so this way Pac can get his match instead of whining?
He did. He just asked for the match first, politely.
That's it. He's a nice guy, man.
Yeah, he skipped the beating part to ask him for the match. Yeah. He gave him a chance, you know, which you're saying, yeah, cut that part out, right? So, and that's the other thing too. Like, well, what have we been talking about with the Death Riders all this time, especially me? I've been said, like, what does any of this have to do with pro wrestling? If you guys just want to jump people and kidnap them and asphyxiate them and do all this other stuff, what does that got to do with the actual matches? You seemed like you're having enough fun on your own without the match part. So you're essentially a bunch of terrorists that are coming to a sporting event and harassing the participants. you know, but then somehow also you are participants. And it seems like that's the least thing you're interested in is winning a wrestling match. So that's why when people do these angles, they never make sense in any way, no matter how good you do it. People will be willing to overlook it, but if they start thinking for 5 seconds, like even the most famous and popular one, the NWO, if you think about that for 5 seconds, it falls apart. It just falls right apart, you know? So you don't think about it. But they're getting even worse and lazier and more egregious. So, you know, that's what we get.
Yeah, it's weird. And what I want to know is, how do we go from a Rumper Stumper storyline to a Rocky storyline suddenly? That's what I want to know. How does that work? Anyone?
Well, we know he's seen them both, so he's just he's just cycling through his homages, I guess. All right, well, the lights go out yet again because it's time for a lights out match. And just like the last time they turned the lights out, it didn't work right after that for a little while. So
this one was playing supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly, but it wasn't. Because a lights out match doesn't mean the lights go out and stay out. It just means that they have to go out and come back on for symbolic purposes. And so this is the Ops versus Swerve person. And the spotlights are trying to follow it. Can you what I defy you to think of a better tag team name.
I'm laughing because I love it.
To register.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it took me a second to register because I replayed it in my head. Did he just say fucking what I thought he said?
Swerve person.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah, so they're all fighting around the ring outside, and the spotlights that are still working are trying to follow this action, and they can't quite, but they're trying. And you know, the match just goes on for, you know, however long it goes on. It's ridiculous. They just keep bringing more and more stuff. The staple gun, of course. You know, you can't have a match without a staple gun. And
let's not forget those boards.
Yeah. So right around the time that Tony Schiavone is talking about all the awards that they won from Sports Illustrated is when like Hobbs and Hook are like trying to bring in this huge thing of cinder blocks and lift it into the ring. I don't know what Sports Illustrated thinks about this, but I'm sure they'll love it. Anyways, the entire Ops Dojo comes into the ring at some point just to tip the scales, but only for a moment.
For a second?
Probably, yeah. It doesn't look like him.
Yeah.
That's a
they probably told him, just wear the shirt. No one will notice. Jimmy noticed.
I noticed straight away.
Yeah. And then, so for a while they get the upper hand, but then everyone gets decimated by Swerve Person. And then Hook taps to, let's see, let me check my notes. What move did Hook chat? Oh, yes, really hanging by chain.
That's right.
You know, that classic submission maneuver.
You know what? It got so bad that he was hanging from the chain that the referee pushed Hang Person and he went flying and just sat there like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? With a crazy face. It was just stupid. I didn't like the way they took out Hook the way they did, man. I thought they went a little too far. It's Hook, man.
Well,
do it to Hobbs. Why do it to like?
Well, you can't. I mean? You can't have a guy like Hobbs getting hung on TV.
Wait, right?
Even if it is Swerve.
I know what you're saying.
Sorry.
I know what you're saying, and I didn't mean it like that. But you get what I mean, right? The fact that Hook is the kid in all of this, right?
Yeah.
And I just didn't like the way he was treated. Like basically, it was just a bit of overkill.
Jimmy, do you not remember weeks ago that Hang Person embarrassed Hobbs in a lights out kind of match itself?
Kinda, right?
Yeah,
I do remember.
He did the same thing, so he embarrassed him. You asked for that. You can't do that twice.
You know what? They should be embarrassed, man. The fact it was pretty much a handicap match. Let's be real, all right? If it was a real fight, it would have been a handicap match, and at least Hobbs like outlasted pretty much both of them. The thing that annoyed me also, what's with the hate for these guys, particularly these two guys? Shouldn't it be somewhere else? That's part of the flops.
Well, Samoa Joe is using Hobbs and Hook to.
I
his
know, but it
advantage.
just came across like I hate you. But
You
but
can't get,
swerving,
you can't get revenge on me without going through my boys and
Yeah,
my 20
whatever.
students. You got to remember that's the formula. It works well for TV purposes, Jimmy. The
Well-
problem is Swerve Person. This is actually minuscule to me in priorities because Swerve Person wants to be the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Now
swerve
they got
Kirsten, exactly.
now they got sidetracked because of the ops. Are we going to do a number one contenders triple threat match down the road? Maybe that's the way it has to go. So this way we see who's the next contender. But Swerve Person have been veered, Jimmy, to the left, going after the ops.
Right, but they were more heelish in this match than the freaking heels. You know what I mean? And like Labrat says, Jim Ross was confused at the end. He was acting like the ops were the good guys, calling out Swerve and Page. And no shit, I even felt that way for a moment. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Even when they had a whole dojo of people interfere on their behalf, they still seemed like more sympathetic because
yeah, man, for real. Why though? And I never feel that way for the heels, but well, how did that even happen? That we feel bad for them.
I'll tell you exactly why. Because and you don't have to agree with it. In fact, I hope you don't, because I don't either. But
okay,
what they think they're doing is they're just trying to tell you the story that these guys are so dangerous that
Right.
even the villains are in trouble. Like your heroes, with heroes like these, who needs villains, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the story they're trying to tell. They're trying to put over the fact that these men are dangerous. Even Swerve is calling himself the most dangerous. Like he's trying to use that as a tagline, as like part of his gimmick. So, okay, it's up to us whether we like it or not, or whether we're buying it. I mean, it's all about buying and selling. Like they're selling you this product. Are you buying it? Up to you. Other people are. Some people think it's the greatest thing ever. Other people really don't. The answer's somewhere in the middle. But the fact is that's the artistic, cinematic, thematic storytelling that they're trying to tell you. They're trying to tell you, like, look out, MJF. Look out, even Samoa Joe. You think Samoa Joe's bad? Look at these guys. Like, they hate each other so much, and look what they're doing together. That's double the carnage, like that's the story they're telling. That's it. You're well within your rights not to like it.
Jimmy only felt sympathetic. No, Jimmy, you only felt sympathetic when you saw Griff Garrison in the Ops T-shirt. That's why
I did. That's what Vince said pretty much before, everybody else. Somehow you felt that way with him. But it's true. It's true. I felt bad for the whole match, basically. But it was just weird, man, to me.
You know what it is? I think I'll look at it this way, that maybe you can chime in on this. Sure. I guess the story, because of the history between Swerve and Hangperson, right? We've seen the levels of evilness, if you will.
Evilness. What are they? The brothers of destruction now?
We had hypodermic needles, chains, and hanging and shit like that.
Drinking blood.
Now they have this common cause, but yet I think for the casual viewer who's been watching the AEW product, I'm just keeping it like that. The single viewers, right, Jimmy?
Right.
The single viewers are almost waiting for that element of the respect that they have for each other to finally, dissipate, finally explode. Because once the heavyweight title is in their grasp, or either one has it, someone's got to look at the other and say, nah, not on my watch, and take them out. That's what I think they're waiting for. They're waiting for that element to explode.
Josh says it perfectly. Jimmy, they are blood brothers.
Yeah, and it won't explode. They'll just they like this new story now where they've set that in the past and they're friends or whatever. So, but yeah, that was Dynamite, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sucked. I'm trying to look back at everything. I was like, did I care? No. I didn't like one thing on this.
Next week we got Maximum Wreckage.
You did not like threesomes and cake?
I mean,
I would have on paper, but then the way it looked, the way it all played out, just seemed very like Bush League. So
Bush League, I like it.
now,
Very amateur. I guess amateur is not in it for for the vet.
as for Collision, on the other hand, now 2 weeks in a row, Collision has felt like a more classic, relaxed, enjoyable pro wrestling show to me. I don't know about you guys, but to me, like, this is more of what I want, and it feels like I said, it still feels more relaxed. Dynamite feels like they're trying too hard, and I think that makes it a little bit boring because it's the desperation comes through, like, please care, right? And Collision, they're like, well, nobody cares, and then they end up doing more stuff right that way, So even with CM Punk not having been there for 2 years, it's still very much a CM Punk show.
The bar is so low for Collision, guys, especially with the ratings, whatever the case may be. But they can do more. They can try more. And I'll say this: the structure for Collision is way better than Dynamite. Even
it's more traditional.
Even though the talent that they put on Collision, guys, let's be honest, is still low tier. You want the top of the top. But
well, yes. In terms of push, in terms of skill, they're not necessarily low tier because these guys are better, and I'll get into it right now.
And by the way,
first
there's a lot of women's matches too.
All right, well, maybe this one is a bad example, but this match, the Death Riders of Yuta, Daniel Garcia, and Pac versus Skyflight. Now, here's one important thing. This would have been a main event, and Collision has been awful at times. It's just that it's been clicking a little bit lately. Like the past couple weeks has been good. But we've had our share of bad collisions too, Jimmy. We remember. So
absolutely.
So this match happens. Okay. It's a multi-man opener we were told about. Scorpio Sky in this match, he's not getting beat, so he showed up for work, right?
Yeah.
So here he is. And they hit the gimmick on the kid.
And let's not forget, they replaced an injured Layla Gray with an incoming Zeta Steel, part of Skyflight.
Yeah. Former WWE ID Zeta Steel, by the way.
So that was Zeta Steel. Okay. I just assumed Layla Gray switched up her look. I didn't even pay attention, but that's what I mean. Like, I see these guys come out and I don't want to watch, but okay. After this, Darius gets the brutalizer, and then, I guess it's not Layla Gray, it's Zeta Steel. She gets Liger bombed by the Megasis, who comes out.
That was a nice one too, man. Just quietly. That was a great Liger bomb. I mean, just the way it looked good.
Yeah. So, there was that to start off the show. You guys have any other thoughts on it or anything else you want to mention?
Excellent commentary by John Moxley, because he needed that Death Riders commentary of what's going on in their minds, and who better than the Continental Champion to give us that expert analysis.
And such a babyface commentator too, man, which I can't stand, man. It's just so whack. But he's actually not bad.
He's fully redeemed, Jimmy. You know this. He's washed his sins away. Now the other people are not redeemed, Jimmy. It's him. He's been redeemed. The other guys are sinners.
Lexi is with Strong, Orange, and Briscoe. The word of the day is momentum. Again, another just perfect promo. There's Mark just does what he does and sort of flips out, like he just keeps going, and you're like, oh my God, he keeps going and he keeps going and he's getting crazier. And that's how you do a promo, guys. But apparently we have standby match, which, that's a term some people may hear and be like, what? What's that? But for the classic pro wrestling fans, like the Professor, which you could hear about on the Pro Wrestling Reflection, you can tell these people what a standby match is if you like.
Standby match is always those alternate matches when the card has gone ahead of schedule. So they had to put some people that were in the catering and had to tell them, yo, we need a couple of minutes out of you guys to fill up some TV time.
So is
But
that how we
usually
got
standby-
bad news, Barrett Brown?
Yeah.
Is
So
that-
usually standby matches happen at the end of the show because it goes too quickly, not
Right.
during the show. That's a little bit of difference.
Yeah, not at the middle.
Yeah.
Like right after the first match. How do you know how much time you're gonna have left for standby matches?
That's the only faux pas I have with standby matches of Tony Khan
Right.
there. He's doing it the wrong way.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. That's the thing. So Tony, but it's like that with everything. Like Tony knows the stuff. He remembers it. He just doesn't understand it. So like he hears a phrase and he's like, I want to do that. And then he does it. And just like when you hear somebody like it'd be like if you know, like when you hear your parents use a slang word that they heard somewhere and then they don't use it right. And you're like, oh my God, like
Bad.
just don't, yeah, that's kind of like what it's like. So anyways, standby match. Brody King versus Barrett Brown. Barrett Brown.
Would we require this as a strong win for Brody or just
No.
a strong standby for Brody?
No. Barrett Brown would have had to have ever been here for it to be a strong win. But
I think Barrett Brown is a Rev Pro #1 contender. He's probably a New Japan G1 Classic guy. So
he's definitely he's New Japan strong, which is this is like there's already too many white dudes in real New Japan. But if you wanted to know where this is really not New Japan, watch New Japan Strong, and you would have seen Barrett Brown also in the opening matches. I'm sorry. I know that we're friends with some people that know this guy, but I'm not going to say anything bad about Barrett Brown because the match didn't last long enough for anything bad to happen. It's just Brody King gets a quick win, not a strong one, a quick one. And Nigel McGuinness is like, we're going to need some more standby matches.
And he did win via the Gonzo bomb for the 1, 2, 3.
Right. Now, speaking of other friends of people that we know, Josh Alexander's cutting a promo while Lance Archer is killing everybody, or everybody's dying in the background, however you want to put it. So this is this format they like. They like this format of Josh Alexander screaming in the camera while Lance Archer and maybe other people beat the staff up. Not even the other wrestlers. They're just the people that are working in the office trying to get some stuff done, make the night go easier for everybody, and they're getting tossed around by Lance Archer.
You know what would have been better? You know what could have been
Oh.
very appealing for the Professor guys? Lance Archer doing what he's doing. And Tony Schiavone sells it like, he's beating up the standby wrestlers. We are ruining. Lance Archer is ruining the format of the show because our standby wrestlers are injured right now. We had more planned matches. We had more planned standby matches. And now that he is ruining our show.
Maybe they should make a new stable and call them the standbys.
The standbys.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
And they still, like even when we need standby matches, they still won't book Lance Archer. He has to do this.
Nah.
So, all right, now let's talk about some people that we do need to make. We need to make sure they have a match that they are not standing by. So we're talking about El Clone versus Commander. And guys, it wasn't a fluke. I think El Clone is the real deal.
The real deal. Why is it? I was going to say, Vet, every time I'm seeing him now, week in, week out, I'm digging him even more, man.
Yes. The guy that used to be Ares, apparently. And it's funny too, because he didn't work under a mask. He had face paint, but so now he's actually gaining a mask, to do these. And this match was like, I liked it. I really enjoyed the match. And part of what makes it enjoyable is the fact that, El Clone is working. Like he's got the heel swagger that you don't normally see in matches like this.
He's actually kind of cool as well, especially compared to the real hologram, which is. Ugh.
Yeah, the real hologram's kind of like plain, but maybe if when these two finally get together, maybe something will happen. But it's been like, this hologram is the bland version, and this is the spicy version.
Big time.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever it is, it's working. I'm a big fan of it. Even little things like, just as a wrestler's wrestler, like I'm watching him. And just little things like how, so he can't have a facial expression because of the mask, but he'll sell things like in other ways. Like if he's confused, like you can't see his face, but he'll like touch his head to do like a gesture or something to like, whatever. So little things like that, letting Commander sell, and then of course being able to be in the right places for him to get his shit in. Like Commander hasn't always looked the best when he's working with other people, when he's trying to get his shit in. Right. But when he's in there with somebody that knows what he's doing, it looks better. So I was pretty impressed.
I'm liking him even more. Every time I see him, I like him even more. So he's just got this swagger about him too. Like he's just, I don't know. Right. He's really good, man.
And I did not care about him when he was, debuted as the gimmick. Right. So it's just like, oh, great. Obviously, like we've got this. I was, being facetious about everything as I always did, but I gave him a chance. So
it's kind of the last 5 weeks where he's really been killing it, I think.
Well, he's only had these 2 matches, really. You weren't even able to see anything before that from him, really, other than just sometimes standing there. Sometimes they forgot to have him stand there because the Don Callis family's so big, nobody remembers who's all in it. Anyway, Professor, Clone wins with the portal bomb. But do you have any assessment yourself? Further up evaluations?
I look at it from the standpoint, I feel bad for Commander because he doesn't have a manager anymore because Alex Abrahams is out of AEW. Abrahantes. Yes, he got released or the contract wasn't renewed. So now Commander's just lost without any focus, any purpose. And I actually dread when Hologram gets healthy because the thing that I'll see play out is the glitches. Like if we know that Hologram's coming back, you'll see probably the way Vet is describing the way he sells because of the mask, you can't see him selling. We'll see glitches in Clone. That means the more glitches in his matches means Hologram's going to get healthier, and then he's coming back, and then we will wait for that match eventually between Hologram and El Clone.
Well, I'm more intrigued about the match than I ever used to be. I'll put it that way. Yeah. So next is Mina versus Lady Frost. Man, is this just the John Enright friend parade? Like what is going on here?
You're a character.
They needed TV time. Hopefully they didn't see Lady Frost like a standby woman. I don't want her to be the standby woman there.
That's right.
She's starting to get there though, Prof. I feel ever since they got Tekla, she's become the poor woman's version of Tekla, if you know what I mean. Because for whatever reason, Tekla reminds me of a better version, even though I'm not a fan of hers, of Lady Frost. Because they kind of look alike to me. They just seem alike for me. I don't know.
A little bit. But
maybe.
So somebody delivered flowers to Mina before this match. Someone had flowers delivered. I don't know if they ever said who did it, but
the secret admirer.
I've got a feeling who it is.
Yeah.
But why flowers, guys? Why flowers? Why not oranges? Could have been better.
That would be good. But cut up oranges though.
Oranges with hearts on it. It writes itself.
Or at least
it wasn't
flowers,
him,
right?
Did you ever think of that?
Even if it wasn't him, and you want to deflect from somebody else in this triangle, right, guys? You do oranges with hearts, and then maybe Tony gets a little bit upset. Maybe Tony gets wait a minute. He had my heart. Why Mina? And now, or Luther could set them both up. I'm just saying.
That would be
It
funny.
writes itself for entertainment value.
Yeah, but it's
Well, it
AEW,
does,
Carl.
but it didn't get written by itself or by anybody else, apparently. So
Exactly.
I know.
it was just flowers, and it was just a figure four. You know, Mina Shirakawa was famous for that figure four, and she put away Lady Frost with it.
Mhm.
Can't remember the last time I saw somebody lose to a figure four. You guys?
Been a
I
while.
guess Ric Flair. Greg the
Yeah,
Hammer
that-
Valentine.
Even that, it's been a long time.
Well, does Charlotte's figure 8 count or no?
Nah.
I'm just asking.
Thanks.
Okay.
So they show a sort of a vignette about the decline of the CEO, in which she says she's gonna take a break, and I'm like, take a break? You have 9 other titles, like the professor said. Like, you can't take a break for shit. But she says she's taking a break, so hopefully all those breaks are under 30 days, because you know.
Or hopefully this break is for her to lose those titles, and Tony won't report it. It'll just be, it'll just happen. But the IWC, the detectives that they are, will remind us that Mercedes might be losing these belts in the coming weeks.
Can I just quickly touch on that what Labrat said? He says, I think I've seen his story on Saved by the Bell. Are you calling Orange Screech? I mean, seriously. I'm just saying.
No, I think it's called Orange Zach and the Slater dynamic. This Zach and Slater dynamic. But
the Screech was the real deal in real life.
It's 2 dudes and a girl, not the other way. This is a guy. This is 9020. This is Dylan, Kelly, and Brenda. I'm just giving I'm the professor. I'm just giving you the logistics of what this is.
That's brilliant. I like it.
Well, we need to keep these 90210 storylines on Wednesday where the kid wrestles, okay?
We need a Melrose Place, damn it.
All right, well, look, let's get as far away from little Jungle Junior as possible, because the next match, again, if we want to talk about the a la carte theory, okay, I only have so much time in the day. I can only enjoy so much wrestling. And there are times when you really do just have to sit down and savor something. So, and they told me it was going to be Mark Briscoe versus Hechicero randomly on, a collision. I thought, all right, let me back it off of 2 times speed. Let me put it on 1 time speed. Let me sit here. Let me enjoy this. I'm on my lunch break now at work. Got my lunch. Let me literally and figuratively eat this. Okay? Let me enjoy this lunch, okay? So I watched this match and I was not sorry. This was, again, if you want to talk about a classic pro wrestling match that could have fit into any era, but if he fit it into the older era, there would have been a couple things in this match that would have blew people's minds. But in general, you've got these guys, the styles, you've got all the makings of a classic match, and they went out there and they delivered in a way that they don't always get to, because they don't always work with a guy that's up to their standards. Hechicero is just there in the Don Callis family to be a guy that would take a pin or like give somebody a strong win or something. They're not really pushing him other than this one match that he just got a TBS title shot in. Or not, a TNT, sorry. But we know, Jimmy, you and I know, we know what Hechicero can do. Like, we know he's really good. The problem is sometimes when you're really good, you're marked as a good hand, and then you're there to make other people look good because they need somebody to make these bums look good because they can't do it on their own. Okay? Hechicero is sort of falling in that category. But here, he's actually on equal footing with the champion, and so we get a good match out of it.
Right, and then nearly went to some of them a draw too. I mean, almost. It didn't, but it was close.
Yeah, but it was good. So you know, like you get to see the mat wrestling of Hechicero, but then you see like, oh, Mark Briscoe knows a little wrestling too. Like he's not quite as much, but he knows the escapes and he can do something. So they're telling the story. Like they told a story at the beginning. What do you always say? Tell a story in the ring. What does that mean? That's just some old timers say. They never explain it. Well, I'll explain it for you. So the story was Hechicero is the master magician grappler. He knows all kinds of cool holds and stuff to put you in. And Mark Briscoe keeps getting out of it. And now Hechicero's frustrated. But they're not breaking down into fisticuffs just yet. You know, so when Mark does the pose at him, the redneck kung fu pose at Hechicero, he's just like, shit. Like, because he hasn't, they haven't come to blows yet, so he can't really be mad at him, and cheat. He hasn't tried to cheat or anything. So, it makes sense to have these breaks in the action. Whereas other times people be like punch each other in the face and then they'll do their little pose off. And it's like, why'd you stop? Why don't you just keep hitting each other? You already been hitting each other. What are you doing? So with this, with the storytelling and the stuff that they do, and then the match ramps up, everybody gets their eventual shit in. That thing that Hechicero does, that leg scissors, sort of like, looks like a leg scissors driver thing. It looks like he kills the guy. He doesn't,
shit, bro. You know what I mean?
He doesn't kill him, but it looks so good. He should not do that unless he's going to actually win the match, because he doesn't have a move that looks better than that. He's got to keep that, in the pocket and stop throwing it away. But it looks awesome. And the people, it was to the point, this match was so good, it even got to the point where the people were chanting Hechicero. Like they started chanting, there was dueling chants for like, let's go Briscoe, Hechicero, So
Hechicero has earned like a better spot on the card, in my opinion. And didn't he even he signed officially with AEW as well as being part of CMLL?
Yeah, he's got one of them double contracts,
right? Like Takeshita with New Japan,
right? And then it's also like another guy that we've talked about in those same exact way is Mortos. Like he's also making other people look good, but.
And he was killing it too, man. Like,
he's not getting appreciated.
He's still killing it, right? Absolutely.
Thank God for Collision, so this way Hechicero can showcase his talents. Right. Even though he's a good hand, he can still have I don't want to say a strong, well, maybe a strong match.
It is a strong win. Yeah.
Well, he didn't have a strong win. I'm just saying he can have a strong match with anybody on the card, especially on the top tiers.
Right. But when you're associated with the Don Callis family, you're just marginalized automatically. It's like, unless you're a Kyle Fletcher or a Takeshita or somebody that's got like a story going on at the time. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, at least for this, we can enjoy this a la carte. That's our only chance. We can pretend that all the other universe around doesn't exist. We can just say, I don't know who these people are. They're supposed to tell us who we are in this match. And I think they did that. I think if anybody had never seen these guys before, this match would have been enough to be like, okay, I like so-and-so, or I like so-and-so, or I like both. So that's what I think. It was fantastic. He won with the Jay Driller. Mark Briscoe did to retain. I couldn't have asked for a better match from him. Any other thoughts, Professor?
Well, I would. The funny thing is, earlier in the night, you have Lance Archer and Josh Alexander being all the standby wrestlers. Later in the show, you have El Clong do what he did against Commander, but then Hechicero's on his own. And then the week before, Hechicero and El Clong, I don't know if he helped Hechicero, but at least he was involved with Hechicero. So you could have kept that.
But you got Hechicero this match. No, because his interference directly led to,
Well, without Don Callis being there physically in this on Collision, maybe the other guys can implement themselves to make the Don Callis family stronger. Or I'm just saying, maybe that's just nitpicking on my end. I'm happy that Mark Briscoe won the match, but I'm just saying, like, use all the people even though they're marginalized, Vet. I'm just saying, use the Don Callis family in some way, shape, or form.
Because I think boys. Oh, sorry, Vic, go for it.
Yeah, just one thing. If you were going to do this correctly and you have to have this giant stable of people that's just never ending, like yes, it would have made more sense, more business sense, I guess, to involve them in some way. But even if they had done that, we know that in reality, that's ideally, but in reality, we know that it wouldn't have led anywhere either. So I'm glad, even though it didn't make sense, I'm glad that we just got this match in a vacuum so that I could enjoy it. Because at this point, I don't care about their business. I only care about me. So if you're going to give me a perfect match, I'm going to take the perfect match. And if they would have tried to storyline something, they would have just fucked it all up. So I'm personally glad, but I know what you're saying. What were you going to say, Jimmy?
Oh, I was going to say, what do you think the psychology behind the Callis family having so many wrestlers, and why do they continuously put even more in the stable? Like, what would be the psychology behind that, you think, boys?
You're asking that, and you saw Jake Doyle debut. You don't want him to be alone. I think he needs somebody.
But why do they need, like, who's like, what I want to know is really, who would it be that's pushing for this? Who's advocating this shit? Is it Tony Khan or is it Callis? You know what I mean? Like, oh no, bring more, let's add more and more.
It couldn't be Don Callis. I don't think, because Don doesn't actually get any more money just because they add wrestlers to his list. So
I agree with that too. Yeah,
but so you would think it would have to be Tony, but at this point, it's almost like, well, it's got to be at this point. It's got to be kind of like the Mercedes thing, like. Well, we started off with something, but now it's so ridiculous. It would be even more fun and more ridiculous the bigger it got. Like, let's see how outrageous we can really get. Could I get in the Guinness Book of World Records for the biggest stable of all time?
Don't be surprised that if he's not aiming for that. Prof. Arakara Blue's got a question for you. Actually, he says, Professor, maybe do a deep dive on Don. He has to be in the conversation of Gary Hart at this point. Oof.
Well, Cyrus the Virus and the stuff he did in WWF years ago during the Attitude Era. Yeah.
The Truth Commission.
The Truth, yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right. So speaking of Truth, we get Lexi with Eddie Kingston and Ortiz and Grizzly Young Veterans. No physicality, guys. We've agreed to no physicality. So
it's just straight up fluffing.
So basically,
they
cut a promo at each other. Nothing special. Let's move on. FTR hype reel. This is our only chance to talk about FTR on Collision. So we got a hype reel. Professor, did you enjoy the hype reel? Did you feel it encapsulated FTR and projected them further into 2026?
Well, I'm always truthful here. I think because I thought a commercial was happening, I missed it because I was watching the Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears. Just wanted to see what the score was. I missed it. So please enlighten me, or you just want to move on?
It was just a package. It was just it was like it was a hype package. It wasn't even like, well, they do the ones, they do those ones where it's like they show highlights of a wrestler, but they're cutting like a pre-recorded promo over it, like a voiceover. Yeah, it wasn't even that.
And before we move on, you could see without Edge and Christian being the rightful next contenders, that FTR is stuck with the belts and no credible, next contenders. Even though we see Jet Speed and GOA and whatever the case may be, but you're not putting that out there. That's the problem.
Nope. What they are putting out there is Hyen and Maya World and Vert Vixen to take on the Cosmic Babes, I believe, according to a fan sign. That fan liked the Cosmic Babes as a team name for Statlander and the Babes of Wrath. The only problem is Statlander's sort of abandoned all the cosmic gimmick and everything. It doesn't really do that anymore, but maybe if she goes back to it, it would be cool. Anyway, she hits her finish on Vert Vixen, and then they started to do a babyface promo, but then they got cut off by a toxic spider because Tekla's got to talk some more. So.
Like I said, the less she speaks, the better it will be.
Right. However, the alternative was Chris Statlander. So I will just point you in that direction and remind you that, lesser of two evils deal. Now, Don Callis, speaking of him, he cut a promo here. and it's one of those ones where it looks like it's like pre-recorded, right, with the cinematic 24 frames per second, Karen. But also, Kyle Fletcher walks in off to the side with his pink suit, and he's like, "We need to talk about Okada." And he's like, "This guy, not only did he try to stab Takeshita with a screwdriver, but that was my screwdriver that I had put there for my match. So he screwed both of us because I didn't have my screwdriver." And Don's like, "Well, Okada's going to do what he's going to do." So, basically didn't resolve anything, but
But remember, Jimmy, we talked about this with World's End. Remember, I said that somebody's got to get out of the Don Callis family. And
Right.
you see it playing out. Now Fletcher's pissed. Remember, I said Fletcher's pissed because the screwdriver was taken away. So now we have this friction between Fletcher, and we haven't heard from Takeshita yet. Vet's favorite wrestler, Takeshita. We haven't heard from him yet because he's lost the IWGP title. And that's the funny thing, because again, I'm surprised, Vet, that I shouldn't say I'm not surprised, but they kept it one-on-one, because you could have had Okada mess up Takeshita's match at Wrestle Kingdom, but then that would be feeding more into AEW. That would benefit them and not benefit New Japan. So at least I understood them respecting New Japan's show and not doing anything AEW centric, if you will. But they could have had some cameras at Wrestle Kingdom and do something AEW oriented, which they missed the boat on that last week, where Okada could have been devilishly grinning, "You lost, bitch. You lost your title, bitch," or something like that. But they didn't want to do that. But I'm glad they at least put this on TV, on AEW TV. Now we know. Now I'm waiting for Takeshita to respond.
Let's see what happens there.
yeah, we could be waiting for a while. Bandito gets that vignette package promo thing I was just describing. He gets one of those.
And he always gets one of those, I've noticed.
Well, this has he's cutting a fresh promo over the top of it. So, and again, it's better than Brody King. So, your main event now, in reality, the main event was probably Briscoe versus Hechicero, but what they put at the end of the show was this. It's the Demand versus Jet Speed and a random Anthony Bowens for some reason. So we're back to
this felt standby-ish.
So standby-ish, but
100%.
Yeah. So the Gates beat Anthony Bowens, which I'm sure he was only there to do. And then Max Caster comes out because they try to beat him up some more, and Max Caster comes out at the end. And then the family comes out, and then the conglomeration comes out, and there's another schmaz, and the show goes out the air, and everybody's, not that great. This is not the way you would have wanted it to end, but I think they just wanted to put the TNT title earlier in the night so that, people would be more inclined to watch it. I don't know exactly where it was, but because of the way the timestamps looked on the feed I saw, it was probably at the top of the hour. Like they probably started around, 9, whatever.
Probably, yeah.
So yeah, so they figured they'd probably get more eyeballs on that. So it's one of those, it's the balancing act of like, well, do you show respect to the people by letting them go on last and then hope that people stick around to watch, or do you try to ensure that more people watch by putting them on earlier in the show? It's just that kind of a thing. So that's what we got, and that was Collision, and that's AEW for the week, guys.
You're very good again, Vet. Right, just under that two hour mark, and we're pretty much going to finish on that 2 hour mark. But yeah, I've got nothing really to say about this main event. It just bored me. I'm sick of all these multi-man main events that we always get on Collision, because like you said, Vet, Collision has been the better structured sort of show, which makes it actually more tolerable. Problem is when you always end it with this shit, like, with all these 8 men, 10 men, 4 men, whatever the fuck tag match, it just takes me out of it, unfortunately. But it was a decent show, and I did actually like it better than Dynamite. Only because Dynamite, like you said, 100 miles an hour, it was a mess. Just things don't make sense. But that's AEW, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Professor. Is it AEW?
It is AEW. But for me, with the structure of this show, which is, again, I like the structure of the show. I like the flow of the show. maybe this match shouldn't have ended the show. Probably you could have ended the match with El Clone. El Clone versus Commander at the end. You showcase El Clone. Does. But, stop disrespecting the Demand, guys. The Demand reminds me of the New Day. The Demand reminds me of the Shield. They're on their way up. Get those Demand t-shirts, Tommy Nice, because it's going to be a collector's item in about 5 years. Trust the professional.
But they are entertaining, though. You got to give them that, though, Prof.
I'm just saying. Again, if the Demand is not used comedic-wise and give them as a serious trios threat, they can do some things on TV.
They actually did both. They actually did both because the finish of the match, which I didn't mention because I just, trying to move the thing along, like you said. Right. But guess what? I'm bringing it back. So, yeah, in the finish of the match, Ricochet was like basically knocked out on his feet, and he fell into his partner. And the referee called for a tag. So when they tried to pin Ricochet, it was like he's not the legal man, and then they came in and beat up Anthony Bowens and beat him that way. And when Ricochet got back in the ring to celebrate, he was still selling it. Like he was like bouncing off his partners, like spinning around and acting dizzy and disoriented and stuff. So, comedy and serious threat. Who knew?
You see, Ricochet needs to get some fouls this year. I think he's been the most.
Show some love for him.
Yeah, no, he's been very underrated in many ways. No, for real though, I think he's like one of those guys that's silently been killing it. You know what I mean? But without a whole bunch of fanfare. But I take my hat off to him, man. And he's also made the Gates of Agony as well, who seem to have more personality suddenly. If it wasn't for Ricochet, so I'm all for these guys.
They will be the trios champions. They will be.
As they should be. I forgot they even existed. Jeez. Anyway, in saying that, boys, Vet, what are you up to? Are you jumping on the Twitch today? Or, what's going on today? And tell everyone what you're doing.
Yeah, well, you can find me at Opinion Haver everywhere. That could include Twitch. You could check me out every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern for the Impact Attack with Brandon, where we talk about TNA and how bad they are. When you could catch Big Ray Hernandez and myself every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern for the Next Level Wrestling Review. We talk about how bad NXT is. And you can always catch me here on the Wreckage every Sunday, but you know that. And you could also check out Wrestling with Rick Rogers. I don't know if you guys have watched the episode from this week, but they had Eric Watts on as a guest.
No way.
And it was phenomenal. You guys all gotta go, especially you, Professor, if you didn't watch it. This is some good old stories from right up, right. It's like right down the alley of the Pro Wrestling Reflection wheelhouse. Nice. So he's telling a lot of great stories, and Eric Watts is a great. What can I say? Like, how is this guy not a bigger star? Yeah, nice. So check that out. Check out the Stevie Richards Show. Awesome stuff as always with Stevie Richards and James doing the things that they do. Check out Limpin' Ain't Easy. I don't think there was an episode this week, but just like, subscribe, notification bell, and you will find out when the new episode is. Back to you guys.
Nice. Prof. Tell them what you're doing and where they can find you and all of that good stuff. And what's next for the Pro Wrestling Reflection?
Well, if you haven't already, or tell a friend to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Reflection with myself and the Tommy Wonder. And we just dropped our first episode of 2026, guys. And it was a what if episode. What if Ricky Morton had a run with the NWA World Title? So great discussion, and I got a lot of feedback from some NWA heads, guys. So they really was into this. So again, this is what proves why the what ifs are the most popular series of the Pro Wrestling Reflection. So tell a friend to subscribe to the Pro Wrestling Reflection YouTube channel.
Good stuff, Prof. That's actually pretty awesome with what you just said. And of course, it is the best nostalgic wrestling podcast show on the planet by far. Just quietly. But as far as I go, if you want to follow me on the Twitter, you can at the PWC Network. But also look out on Tuesday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern. It's I Like It Raw, where me and Big Ray Hernandez talk all things Monday Night Raw. So look out for that. And of course, go check out the Smack Attack with myself and R to the B to the V. We had quite a good show actually a couple days ago, so go check that out. And that's a wrap from me. So in saying that, I am Jimmy T. He is my co-host, the best in the world, Jaime the Vet Williams. And he is the magnanimous and the glorious, the Professor Chabelo Vera Cruz. And you've been listening and watching the
Wreckage.
Boy.
live on Hummy Mini Group's YouTube channel. And we're out. Till next time. Peace.